Hey everybody, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Today's an exciting day because today I get to show you Stellaris Federations, the new DLC for the game. This is actually my first ever sponsored video, entirely sponsored video by Paradox on my entire 10 years on YouTube because I just really like Paradox. So today I'm going to be showing you some of the new origin systems of the game, as well as the new diplomatic system with Federations, which I think is a really big improvement. So you can see here, I threw together a little country, Democratic Bruggen Confederation, Bruggen just being one of the randomly generated names. And this place is very heavily weighted towards diplomacy, so I can show you the new diplomatic system. You can see some of these old things have changed, like available envoys there on Diplomatic Corps. That's new, so I'll be showing you what envoys are, but I also want to show you, if I hit edit here, there's now an origin thing here. So you'll probably recognize some of these. Some of these were kind of a part of previous, I believe it was actually partially attached to your government ethics on some level, but there's much more variety now. Things like mechanists start the game with 8 population being robots and with the technology and infrastructure to build more, and robot upkeep is a little bit cheaper. So that would drastically change the start of your game. Life seeded, which used to be one of your little perks that you took, now that is an origin story, so it's nice. It gives you a little bit more variety when making your country, and a lot of early stuff. And today, I am going to show you Lost Colony. The idea of this one is that we're a Lost Colony ship from another older empire. And so the way this plays is, our starting game seems mostly normal, but as we explore the universe, at some point, we're going to find a nation that is more advanced than everybody else, is going to start a bit ahead of all the other starting nations. And it should have the exact same race as us. However, because we diverged so long ago, we are very likely to have different governing ethics. And so the way this would change the game would be, there's a more powerful country out there, and so depending on how their ethics match up with yours, maybe you want to befriend them, or maybe it's a threat you have to worry about. So that's something that you might have to worry about a little bit later down the line. Now, considering we're a very diplomatic country here, as you can see, you know, xenophile, egalitarian, most of our population is going to come from immigration and everything, we really obviously are going to hope that the other country out there is one that we can befriend. But how do you befriend it now? That's different. Let's get into the game. So a lot of this very early game stuff is going to be quite similar with what I want to show you right now, because we don't have an origin that is immediately noticeable, like starting with a bunch of robot population or anything like that. Instead, I really want to show you the new Federation stuff. I mean, it's what the DLC is named after. And so I'm going to have to explore the universe very quickly. So, naturally, I'm going to want to make extra science ships. You know, one can just scout my nearby area and see if there's anything good around here, you know, planets to expand to. But what I'm really interested in is checking out this whole universe. I gotta get people out there so that I can meet people early to start sowing the seeds of friendship early. You can see this is new up here, envoys. We have 0 to 5 envoys on assignment right now. So we actually have a lot of envoys because of all the bonuses we took. Normally, I believe you just start with 1. And these are going to start making a lot of sense in a little bit of an Europa Universalis 4-way once we meet other countries. So I'm probably going to be jumping around a lot in this video, just because a lot of my stuff doesn't really happen super early in the game. Oh, would you look at that? It's been a few minutes, and the first country that we've run into is actually the one from the origin story. You can see it's the same race as us, but a different country. What are their ethics? So they're xenophiles. Okay, we're fanatic xenophiles, so this is good. We might actually be able to befriend each other. Now, they're fanatic militarists. We're not, but the fact that we both are xenophiles, I mean, on some hand, we are the same species, and it's increased opinion for other species, but generally, xenophiles tend to like global diplomacy, or I guess we're not on a globe, universal diplomacy. But check this out, we don't just have our usual things governed by our ethics on what we say to them, we also have, having lost colony origin. We have long wondered what became of our home world, so we can declare ourselves as clearly I mean, I don't know how they can't just see our face and realize we're the Lost Colony, but I guess the guy doing the first contact is a little bit dense. There we go. Look at that. First alien encounter. Momentous occasion, because we're fanatic xenophiles, so of course it's a momentous occasion to us. And if we give it a second here, there we go. This is where they... Wow! Wow, they snuck up on me. I went scouting this way and haven't found anyone yet. They were right here. So this is something that would actually really change how you want to play your game, because I ended up spawning right next to a much stronger country. Now, we know that they're fanatic militarists, so that's slightly concerning. If I go through this, so their power compared to me is overwhelming. I might be doomed. I don't know. They're wary of me. So we want to communicate. You can see that the menu looks a little bit different than it used to. It's mostly familiar. So what the system used to be was a trust system, and it kind of made sense. It was more of a long-term opinion of you, you know? But the weird thing about it was you always kind of got the ball rolling just by giving them a bunch of gifts, and that builds trust. It was kind of strange. I don't know. Didn't quite feel right to me. I'm digging this new system more, so you can see I can improve relations here. And the way I do that, if I select it, is by assigning to them an envoy. And as you can see, skill level, 1 to 6 here. There are different skill levels of envoys. I want to send a young one. My youngest is 34. Okay, that person will have to do then. Can I send multiple? Yes, I can. That is good to know. I have a ton of envoys. My cap is actually 6 now because in between cuts here, I got some unity. So I spent some traditions on diplomacy because this one right here that normally would allow you to make a federation, it's now federation, but it's also more available envoys. So when you assign an envoy, you can't reassign them for a year. But honestly, this is such an emergency dealing with these guys that I'm willing to drop like 4 envoys on them. So you can see we're improving our relations with them. We're probably going to improve it quite rapidly, and we'll need to, considering they're aware that we basically don't have a fleet. Every last piece of alloy I should actually spend on a fleet right now just to delay their idea of, hey, I should conquer that guy. Because again, fanatic militarist. Of course they want to conquer me. Asking to be protectorate. Yeah, none of this is really available yet, mostly because they're wary of me. You can see the breakdown here on invite to federation, because I'd love to have a federation with these guys. Because as much as we're in danger right now, if I were to get into a federation with these guys, I could start wielding them like a sledgehammer. They'd be my guard dog. All of a sudden, I could take a big disadvantage and turn that into a big advantage, and I think that would be really interesting if I can pull it off. However, I think there's also a decent chance that I'll get wiped right now. We'll see. Now, I can, of course, offer a trade deal, and the like that we're trading, that's not a thing that doesn't exist anymore. Also, favors exist now, which is a social credit system, I guess you would consider. You know what a favor is in real life, right? So I think... Look, I have a lot of credits that I don't necessarily need. And on one hand, if I were to give them a bunch of credits, not monthly, a bunch of credits, they'd like me a little bit more. On the other hand, are they going to use those credits to manage the upkeep of their superior fleet and rough me up? I don't know. Trade willingness. Yeah, due to honor-bound warrior personality, how willing they are to enter a trade deal with us, and how highly they value our trade offer. I'm willing to just throw 200 at them. That's very little to me, and it's probably very little to them, to be honest, too, because as you can see, they're quite a bit ahead of us. So they're reviewing the proposal. Okay. Hopefully, I won't have an instant war declared on me, but just in case, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to go to the market here, because what I actually did was... one of my other things I took in my traditions was open markets. Empire trade value increased by 10%. So hopefully money will be fairly easy to get in the future as my trade really starts, going up, as I start finding trade locations, put star bases on them, get some off-world trading going. Market fee is still a little crap, but, you know, do what you can. And we have a lot of credits to throw around, so I think I'm going to throw some around. I think I'm actually going to drop a little bit of money on getting some alloys immediately and build some ships. Honestly, we really need alloys badly for this. It's 100 alloys per ship, so we're actually just about to get enough for another one. Did they accept? They accepted the trade deal. I figured they would because it's just a gift, you know? And yeah, that immediately gave us a little bit of opinion just through favorable trade deal. Xenophiles generally like diplomacy. We have the same authority, which is very cool. We lucked into that one, absolutely. Border friction, not great. And I'm surprised there's not a modifier right there on opinion just for being so militaristic. However, I would imagine it still takes that into account when deciding whether to declare war or not. The simple fact that they have a much bigger fleet than us, and they love conquering, that alone tells me that they are very much considering taking us out right now. So, I'm going to run the clock just a little. Okay, you can see our diplomacy is increasing a lot. Each one of our envoys that we've sent to them, we sent them 4, is giving us a +4 opinion, or giving them a +4 opinion of us every single month. I'm actually thinking this is so important. I'm going to dump every single envoy but one of them on them. You can see they're wary, but we have an up arrow here. So negotiations are in an upward trend, which is incredibly important to me right now. First contact. Okay, first contact. They didn't actually like our first contact. That's interesting. Or rather, our opinion of them. Apparently, we didn't like our first contact with them. That's interesting. That event, updated. Completely unrelated to the diplomacy here. So the first thing I'd like to do, preferably, is invite them to a federation. But that's not going to happen until they're at least not wary. Then we'll see how it goes. But realistically, a migration treaty is one we can probably get fairly easy. And I'd love that because we have a lot of bonuses with our country towards immigration pull. They've got a very large population compared to us, and if they start immigrating to our country, I guess you'd call it a country still, if they start immigrating to our country, that's going to be a real boost to the workforce that we need right now to help catch up with someone as scary as them. Market fee reduced by 10% would be really nice. Base trade production of trader rights increased by 5. That's also really good, but we don't really have trader rights yet. Federation naval capacity counts for twice as much. That'll be good once we have a federation. And for getting all of this, we increase our trust cap and trust growth. Okay, that is going to be very important. So I don't want to... Normally, I would kind of grab the beginnings of a few things, but I think I am going to just go for market fees in case I need to buy more and just kind of keep this ball rolling. And of course, keep the fleet growing. Anything to dissuade them from destroying us. Well, we tried to befriend them. Check this out.
Handshake protocols activated.
Ah, man, it's yelling all of them at me. Check this out. It's only been a few minutes. You can see in the game at the top right, you can see the date. It's been very little time at all, actually. And we've already got their opinion up a ton because we are such a we're such a diplomatically, rather, weighted country. We've been able to get them a little bit more on our side very, very quickly. Their opinion of us is skyrocketing because we have such an army of envoys trying to convince them, hey, let's do business, to the point that you can see we now have a commercial pact and research agreement proposal, which is funny because I was just looking at them, and as I was just about to, getting ready to send those myself. So first they want a commercial pact with us that'll increase the value of both of our empire's trade networks. So right away, that's fantastic because this is giving them a financial incentive to stay friends with us because it's going to help fund their own burgeoning empire. Actually, I believe they're a republic, aren't they? Yeah, they're a republic. Okay. I will accept that wholeheartedly, and I will also accept the research agreement. Yes, gives a bonus to research speed of all the empire's discovered technologies. I'm a little surprised they wanted to do this, to be honest, because I guess they figure I'm going to be going more economically based stuff than they are, and so this will help them catch up as they fall behind on that. But right now, a research agreement is much more beneficial to us than it's beneficial to them, because they start off, we can see they're technologically, okay, no, they're equivalent with us now. I'm sure they have better ship technology than we do, though. So this will help us catch up on that to help make that fleet power less overwhelming. However, I really want this trust up fast, and the closer we can bridge our two countries, the better. I want to propose a defensive pact right now. This would be, this would make it so that if someone declares war on one of our countries, we've promised that the other person will join in as well. This will keep us much safer. Yeah, not want to drag your empire into a conflict, but it's clear the benefit of joining together against possible threats. So this is not an offensive pact, this is a defensive pact. It will cost us influence every month, but not dying is really nice. And you can see if we had favors, we could call them in here. So if you've played Crusader Kings, you might be a little bit familiar with that concept of convincing someone to do something they wouldn't otherwise do because they owe you favors. And, you know, you might be familiar with the envoys because there was a similar-ish system in Europa Universalis 4, and it worked great in that. So I'm going to propose that defense pact, and as we know, that they should accept it, unless things change. They accepted. Okay, we have very closely tied our countries in a very short amount of time. And that is because I made such a diplomatic country. It wouldn't normally be this easy, but we have such an army of diplomats. So we're cordial now, which is very nice. So we don't have that debuff on, was it migration we had a debuff on? It was federation. We had a -50 debuff on that because they were wary of us. That's gone now, but we're still a ways off of actually getting in a federation with them. Relative power is surprisingly not a huge deal to them. Honor-bound warriors, they don't really want to suck up to anyone else. Makes sense. Migration treaty, though, we're very, very close to getting, and that will benefit our country much more than theirs. Okay, there we go. We have a friendly attitude with them now. That's an immediate +10. That's really nice. So we actually aren't super far from Federation. This will cost us a surprisingly small amount of influence every single month, considering it increases the trust by a lot. So I absolutely want a migration treaty. There we go. They accepted. That is beautiful. Our population is going to grow a lot more than theirs from that because we have more people, or they have more people to immigrate to us than we do to them. And yeah, I'm already feeling very good about the start. I was worried I was going to get wiped out early, but let's keep those ships building just in case, you know? It never hurts to be prepared. So at this rate, we should be able to sneak in a fairly early Federation, shouldn't we? So we have +30 on Federation for friendly attitude, which is very nice. I would like to get rid of that difference in power. It's minor, but, you know, you do what you can. And we already have colonies starting and everything, so hopefully he is aware that we are clearly going to be a very good country over here, and that perhaps it would be smart of him to buddy up to us. You know, maybe get in a federation with me so that I can show off that new federation stuff. Complete. There we go. You can tell that I made a very diplomacy-heavy country for a reason. I want to rush towards showing you all of this new stuff. Let's skip ahead to when we can get the federation, or if we meet someone new. All right, check it out. We've actually met another couple countries here. We just met a Commonwealth up here. They're xenophiles, so we might be able to make friends with them. Citizens send all their regards. Let's
construction complete.
Yeah. Let's actually try and befriend them a little bit. So we met two countries here. One of these are xenophiles, and so we can, you know, they like us, we like them. I think I'm gonna immediately give them a diplomat so we can start, or diplomat. An envoy, so we can start the process of befriending them. The other people we met, though, are fanatic xenophobes. So we have an immediate -80 on them. They're down here, right? Yeah, that's them right there. So they're far away. They're not really a threat. Those guys are down there. We're going to try and befriend them. But these guys, they hate our race. So I really don't think they're going to want to join a federation with us. It's going to be very hard to befriend them. I'm not saying it's going to be impossible, but that's a very, very long-term commitment right there. I have much easier people to befriend first, and maybe once I've got a big federation to bully them around, maybe I'll get them to join, maybe we'll conquer them. We'll see. Maybe our allies here will conquer them because they're such militarists, you know? We'll have to see how that goes, but these guys, They're really starting to like us. You can see our acceptance is getting very close to finally getting a federation with them. The fact that they're friendly with us is massive. The fact that we have 5 envoys with them is making them like us really, really quickly. Relative power is apparently not too much of a concern of theirs anymore, which I'm a little surprised by, just because their fleet is significantly better than us. I mean, they could definitely wipe us out if they wanted to. And yes, I would like to investigate aliens, by the way, because that lets me communicate with more races. And I want... base trade production is kind of nice, even if I'm barely using it right now. And our scouting scientist out there looks like he's going to get attacked, so we'll have him explore it that way instead. Okay. We're so close, everybody. We're at 0 acceptance. We only needed to be 1. And we have so many envoys there. There we go. I just had to wait for that 1 month. Oh, and a new president was elected. Hold on. Yeah, I think we lost a scientist because, yeah, our scientist just got elected. That's awesome. However, let's get this federation going. So we managed to get a really quick federation out of them. So we get to, what this is exactly, like what type of federation this is depends on your government type, you know, a trade league if you're a mega corporation or have merchant guilds. If you're a materialist or have a machine intelligence, you can be a research cooperative. A martial alliance if you're a militarist. Hegemony if authoritarian. That's awesome. So we are a galactic union. Random name. Not the best name I have ever seen for a galactic union. I don't want to sit here forever trying to think of one because I'm the least creative person that I can think of. So I'm going to call it Galactic Union. I don't know where I got that name from. It was just off the top of my head. Decrease ethics imposed by 50% smaller to Federation cohesion. Diverse ethics, rather. Okay. Increase trust between us, obviously, and will cost us more influence. Can't wait for factions to start up in my country so I can start really getting some more influence. But they are definitely going to accept that, aren't they?
Federation 4.
Yes, they did. New federation formed. Communications. Oh, we have a neighbor that we didn't know of until now. Yeah, we have a lot of countries we know of now. We're getting pretty close to getting that Galactic Senate at this point. Yeah, we've met a lot of countries. I think it's because we just met all of the ones that our Federation has met. So you can see here, we actually have a Federation view now, which is pretty fancy for the different levels of Federation. A lot of this is fairly new to me. So excuse me if some of these things change over time or if I'm not losing Federation experience. So if I'm not explaining this the absolute best, forgive me. We can assign envoys to this, though, and I think I'd very much like to. And unfortunately, you can't reassign an envoy for a year after... Not sure if it's after you've assigned it or after you've unassigned it. So I guess we're going to find out. Let's go ahead and reassign some envoys here. So I want my Federation menu. I want to assign envoys, and I want to assign a bunch who are in the Republic of Truit. I believe is how you pronounce that. Now that we're on very good terms with them, we don't need to have so many of these guys. We don't need to have so many of these guys working on them anymore. I'm going to assign 2 envoys. Okay, it looks like they only have the cooldown after they've been assigned, not reassigned. That's really nice. I like that. I'm going to assign 2 of them on the Federation there. And I also would like to... Weren't one of these guys Xenophiles? These guys are Xenophiles. We already have an envoy with them, though, don't we? Yeah. Yeah, we do. Were any of these other guys ones who can probably befriend? That one's a xenophobe, so probably not. Authoritarian. Fanatic pacifist. Maybe? No, they don't. Well, it was a bad first contact, but that's not that bad. Bombardment policy. I'm fine with changing my bombardment policy. These are slaving despots. But surprisingly, they are xenophiles, apparently? No, they just like that we're xenophiles. Okay, well, maybe we can get them in the Federation as well. So we'll give them an envoy. We'll start slowly building it up, and we'll see where things take us after a little while. Okay, so as we get to different levels... Okay, as we get to different levels of Federation, we start getting different bonuses. Officer exchange, more naval capacity counts. That's good. Welcoming nature. It's easier to get, okay, less of a penalty for new members. Okay. Federal envoys. Gives you more envoys. That's obviously valuable. That's really cool, actually. I like that a lot. I don't like that our name is overlapping with our economy a little bit, but the tooltip makes that easy to read, so it's not that big a deal. Minor thing to fix. Okay, so centralization right now is very minimal. Makes sense. Yeah, losing Federation experience, so we've invested some envoys in it, which I'm sure will help with that. Yeah, based on no cohesion. Yeah. And it says here that it decreases as we become more divided. So we want to try and keep our... You know, we want to keep cohesive. We want to be friends with the people in the Federation. We want everyone to feel a need to stay together in the Federation. Right, I need to put a scientist on this. What am I doing? I like that. There we go. And so we're slowly starting to build some experience here. What is this? Closed borders? These guys close their borders with us. That's fine. Because these guys over here in the Federation will keep us perfectly safe from any kind of danger out that way. But you can already kind of see, you know, this is a DLC where I think that there's a lot of... They're harming our relations? Why would you do that to me, you dick? I just want to make friends, guys. I'm just trying to, you know... do I just have the one guy in the Republic of Truit now? No, I got 2 people improving relations in Truit. So I'm going to actually move one of them to these guys, because I think it wouldn't be too hard to get don't try to make me pronounce that. The Commonwealth. This theocratic republic. I think it wouldn't be too hard to convince them to join our Federation with time. It's not like an immediate thing, but we could get that going. I'm pretty confident in that, actually. The experience, yeah,
Special project complete.
We're already fixing that problem very quickly.
Situation log updated.
And we don't have any... Good. I was just making sure we didn't have any anything to research there in terms of another nation's language, so that you can speak to them and get, you know, global communication going. Wow. Would you look at the fleet they have? That's genuinely very impressive. Their fleet power is overwhelming compared to ours. We already have our 10 corvettes that I wanted to make there. I mean, I can go up to 20, but honestly, we don't have the income to warrant it right now. We're going to have to grow bigger to do that. I feel like I've just kind of scratched the surface on all of this content. However, I think that's also a good little introduction for you guys, since I know that you don't want me to make it too long, or else no one's going to click the 5-hour-long video. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed. If you want to see more of this game, I do have a Let's Play of Stellaris on my channel on a different, on a Federation patch. But honestly, we're dominating that game so hard that we're probably just going to move to a Federation patch very shortly after it comes out. If you're watching this, check the date. It very much might be out. This DLC comes out on March 17th of 2020. You can pre-order it or purchase it if it's already out at a link in the description of the video you're watching right now, if you'd like to. And again, this video is sponsored by Paradox. And yeah, this was a good time. Check me out on Twitch in the description if you want to watch me stream some Stellaris sometime. I've also done Crusader Kings 2. I've done Imperator Rome, which has gotten some very good updates recently. I want to do more EU4, and I love me some Hearts of Iron. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.